211-294-812. Glale Shopping Mall. Glale Shopping Mall. Glale Shopping Mall.
This is Chancellor Zabanda with the news on Zodiac. The headlines this hour. Public Accounts Committee of Parliament demands report from Health Ministry on 645 million kwacha funds for referral cases. Ncheu tragedy, which claimed 21 lives on Sunday, creates 60 orphans. High vacancy rate for gender officers at district councils said to be contributing to rising GBV cases. And in sports, Mighty Wanderers Football Club opens up for more partnerships to maximize commercialization drive. And I'll give you the news in detail. The Public Accounts Committee of Parliament (PAC) has asked the Ministry of Health to provide documentation for 645 million kwacha funds for referral medical cases that formed part of the audit report into the abuse of COVID-19 funds. Committee Chairperson Shadrack Namalomba made the call as Ministry of Health officials appeared before the committee today. Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Charles Mansambo, said his ministry will source the requested documents. Preliminary assessment of the Ncheu accident, which has claimed 21 lives on Sunday, shows that it has created 60 orphans. Chikwawa District Commissioner Ali Pili, in whose jurisdiction the deceased hailed from, says the council will soon embark on a social protection machinery for survivors and members of bereaved families to cope with the aftermath of the tragedy. He has warned that without psychosocial support, survivors and orphans of such a tragedy risk having progress of their lives stagnant. Masozi Kasambara with the details.
Sekeni village on the outskirts of Unchalo Trade Center is grief-stricken. Of the 21 people who lost their lives in a Sunday Ncheu road accident, 12 came from this area, 6 from Ilovo Sugar Company lines, while 3 hailed from Mungabu area. Village Edman Hanogi, a father of 7 who has lost a wife in this tragedy, says he's failing to come to terms with the reality of the tragedy. The traditional leader says his voice is muted on how to describe the catastrophe that has hit his family and village at large. District Commissioner for Chikwawa, Ali Piri, warns that failure to provide psychosocial support to survivors and close relatives to the deceased would see them stuck in one event that would impede their progress in life.
We are planning to visit the families so that we kickstart our social protection machinery, beginning at the village level up to the district level, where we are going to help them, help the families cope with what the tragedy that has just happened to them.
According to the DC, preliminary assessment shows that over 60 children have been orphaned by the accident. The dead have been buried in areas where they hailed from after consultations with their families. It is St. Cemetery, located at a stone's throw distance from Nchalo Trade Center, the economic hub of the Shire Valley, where many of the dead have been laid to rest. The Ncheu fatal road accident saw a truck first hit a Toyota Coaster minibus before ramming into a third vehicle. Masozi Kasambara, ZBS News, Njalo.
The Malawi Law Society is insisting that while President Lazarus Chakwera has the constitutional liberty to be silent on why he hires and fires people, he has the moral duty to disclose why he fired Attorney General Dr. Jikosa Sirungwe to show respect to access to information. President Chakwera yesterday chose to hold to his prerogative, but Malawi Law Society Secretary Crispin Ngude this morning said Malawians have the right to know how government is discharging its duties as per the Access to Information law that accords them access to information on issues of national importance. Details with Grace Kombe.
The decision by President Lazarus Chakwera to fire the country's Attorney General, Dr. Chikosa Silungwe, 2 weeks ago, attracted reactions from Malawians, and some asked the president to come in the open on the reasons. But yesterday, during a press briefing upon arrival from the United Kingdom, the president stood his ground that he is not going to disclose the reasons. The president said this is his constitutional prerogative.
Sometimes we are not allowed to disclose to the public what we have discussed in private on some decisions made.
But the Malawi Law Society Secretary Crispin Gunde insists it is proper for the president to come in the open to tell Malawians why he fired the Attorney General, saying this will show his commitment and respect to the access to information law which his government assented to. While acknowledging that it is the president's constitutional prerogative to keep the tight lead on the matter, Gunde says Malawians have the right to know how leaders whom they ushered into power to run government machinery are discharging their duties.
The Constitution provides mechanisms for accountability and the transparency. One of the, for example, Section 37 of the Constitution, which guarantees access to information. And we also have the Access to Information Act. I think Malawians are not demanding too much when they request the president to give reasons for firing the Attorney General in the interest of all Malawians.
President Lazarus Chakwera fired Dr. Silungwe 2 weeks ago.
Staying with the presidency, State House says President Lazarus Chakwera is hopeful his trip to the United Kingdom will translate into high-quality education for Malawi through improved structures, training and welfare of teachers. Director of Communications at State House, Sean Kampondeni, said this at a press briefing in Lilongwe, that the president wishes that every Malawian child gets quality education. We have this report.
Director of Communications at the State House, Sean Kampondeni, says that President Lazarus Chakwera is hopeful that his recent trip to the United Kingdom will have a significant and positive bearing on education in the country. Kampondeni says that the British government has committed 37 billion kwacha to assist the education sector, among other things, teaching of mathematics and educating girls. He added that the state president is committed to ensuring better educational structures as well as training and welfare of teachers is achieved.
The president is hopeful not only that the trip to London will translate to the improvement of quality of education in Malawi, but also accessibility of education following the president's interaction with the Secretary of State, the British Secretary of State for Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Affairs, Mr. Dominic Raab, as well as the president's own engagement with the Prime Minister Boris Johnson. The British government committed to 37 billion kwacha in assistance to go towards the education sector, especially the strengthening of the teaching of math, as well as addressing some of the obstacles in the education of girls.
During a press briefing in Lilongwe, Kampondeni announced that President Lazarus Chakwera will go to South Sudan for an African Free Trade Area engagement aimed at correcting the trade imbalance in Africa. He further highlighted that the president is engaging his advisors on the loan application bill, which found its way to Parliament without the knowledge of the Attorney General and the Minister of Justice, saying the president supports the strengthening of government institutions, hence seeking to know the State House official who pushed the bill. Kampondeni has meanwhile vehemently denied that President Chakwera appointed his daughter Violet to a diplomatic mission in Brussels, adding that the media misquoted Press Secretary Brian Banda on the issue. Reporting for Zodiak, this is Western Guta.
UK Minister of State for Energy, Clean Growth and Climate Change, Anne-Marie Trevian, is visiting Malawi from this Monday until Thursday to advance collaboration between the two countries on climate change response. Trevian said in a statement issued by the British High Commission to Malawi that her trip seeks to understand how Malawi is adapting to climate change impacts and her role in international climate action. We have a report for more. Well, the Malawi Police Service says preparations to ensure that the country hosts a successful Southern African Development Community Zodiak Summit are on course. Inspector General Dr. George Kainja told us yesterday that police are handling the preparations alongside the Defence Force and the National Intelligence Services. Malawi hosts the 2021 Zodiak Heads of State and Government from the 9th to 19th of this month in Lilongwe and will cost 4 billion kwacha. Zuleka Nanguo has filed this report.
The Southern African Development Community Zodiak Summit is coming at a time the country is experiencing security lapses. Recently, it was reported that 7 suspects escaped from Chitedze police unit in Lilongwe, and a similar incident happened in Msimba, where 9 suspects escaped from Kabwafu police unit. Security expert Sheriff Kaisi says the country has a security problem and the Malawi Police Service should work hand in hand with the Malawi Defence Force to ensure security in the country is tightened ahead of the summit.
I still do believe that the Malawi Police is going to do all it takes to provide the maximum security to the heads of state because they deserve that. And should they have any problem, we have seen many times in that number that the Malawi Police Service is conducting some operations in cooperation with the Malawi Defence Force.
Malawi Police Inspector General Dr. George Kainja says police officers have been allocated to different parts of the country to ensure maximum security.
We have at the same time partnered with the MDF, the National Intelligence Services, Migration Department, and the other law enforcement agencies in Malawi. As I speak, we have a national joint master plan, which dictates and guides us in terms of what role each one of us we will play.
Apart from security, in readiness for the Zodiak Summit, city councils are currently renovating some notable places, including removing waste in markets.
You're watching the news here on Zodiac. We'll be back with more after this.
I got a call from my driver telling me that my motor vehicle was involved in an accident in Balaka. I was shocked and very worried, considering that the car was only 4 months old.
Get your vehicle covered against road accidents, fire, theft, and third-party liabilities at CIC General Insurance Limited.
I submitted all my claim documents to my insurer, CIC, and within 14 days, I got my settlement through a bank transfer. I was very delighted and inspired. Later, I managed to purchase a replacement vehicle. Throughout the process, CIC staff were very diligent, friendly, accommodating, and professional all the time.
Our professional and friendly staff will ensure that you get the best customer experience that is second to none. For more information, visit our offices in Lilongwe at Area 3 Judge Building, opposite the District Commissioner's office. And in Blantyre, visit our offices at Livingstone House behind Plantation House.
I recommend CIC all day, every day for all your insurance needs.
CIC, we keep our word.
Hello and welcome. 15 weeks have gone by since the opening of the 2021 tobacco marketing season. The increased rate of no-sale rejection has been recorded in week 15 of the current season compared to that registered during the same period last year. The rate increased to 58% in week 15 this year as compared to 34% registered during the same period last year. A slump in tobacco prices on the market in week 14 and 15 had a negative ripple effect on the seasonal average price in week 15 as the average price moved from $1.64 per kg in week 14 to $1.63 per kg in week 15. Comparatively, the 2020 average price remained lower at $1.52 per kg. After 15 weeks of sales, 112.7 million kilograms of all tobacco types have been traded, from which proceeds totaling $183.7 million have been realized this year. During the same comparative period last year, 99.9 million kilograms of all tobacco types were sold, which generated $152.3 million. As we draw towards the end of the 2021 tobacco marketing season, the Limbe and Chinkoma auction floors are now closed, while still operational at the Lilongwe and Mzuzu auction floors. That's all for this week. Thanks for watching.
Munthu mmodzi payekha sangamange mudzi, koma anthu angapo kubwera pamodzi timati uwu nde mudzi. Pamodzi tili ndi kuthekera kobweretsa chitukuko mdera lathu. Network yathu ya Malawi ya TNM yakhala ikuthandiza madera ambiri mu njira zosiyanasiyana. Komano pano TNM ikufuna kupitiriza ntchitoyi mogwirizana ndi ife eni ake amudzi. Ndi nkani yabweretsa TNM mudzi wathu. Mukagwiritsa ntchito TNM poimba foni, kutumiza ma SMS, kugwiritsa ntchito internet, kapena kugwiritsa ntchito mpamba, chaka chilichonse TNM idzipereka 1% kapena 1 kwacha pa 100 kwacha iliyonse ya ndalama zomwe yapanga kuti ithandizire pa chitukuko chomwe anthu akufuna mdera lawo. Tikabwera pamodzi ndi kugwirizana chimodzi, tikhoza kupanga zazikulu m'mudzi wathu. TNM mudzi wathu. Umodzi unamanga mtolo. Ndondomeko zidzatsatidwa.
UNICAF University, July to August 2021 intake. Special scholarships available at UNICAF University for bachelor, master's and doctoral degree programs. UNICAF University is accredited nationally by the NCHE and internationally by the British Accreditation Council in the UK. Enroll for internationally recognized degrees at a fraction of the cost. Feel safe knowing that your online studies with UNICAF University will not be disrupted by measures for the pandemic. From enrollment to graduation, everything runs smoothly online. Don't miss this golden opportunity. This offer is valid until the end of August 2021. So, apply today and get a free tablet when you register and pay the required deposit. Ring 01755 or WhatsApp 0993 907002 for more information.
Welcome back. A look at the headlines as we continue. Public Accounts Committee of Parliament demands report from Health Ministry on 645 million kwacha funds for referral cases. Ncheo tragedy, which claimed 21 lives on Sunday, creates 60 orphans. High vacancy rate for gender officers at district council said to be contributing to rising GBV cases. And in sports, Mighty Wanderers Football Club opens up for more partnerships to maximize commercialization drive. Now, moving on with the news, the Parliamentary Women Caucus says high vacancy rate of gender officers in district councils is derailing efforts to contain the spate of gender-based violence, GBV. Committee Chairperson Loni Chijerepiri raised the concerns as members of the committee engaged the Ministry of Gender officials at Parliament over the vice. Principal Secretary in the Ministry responsible for administration, Isaac Karobola, admitted of the challenge, citing government is working to address the situation. Chimoe Badata reports.
Members of the Parliamentary Women Caucus raised a number of challenges as they met officials from the Ministry of Gender. Among these challenges is a huge vacancy rate of gender officers, which they say is crippling efforts to minimize gender-based violence. Committee Chairperson Loni Chijelejirwa explains how this impacts their work.
Gender staffs in our districts, in other districts we have them, in others we don't have them. But even if we have, it's just maybe 1 or 2 at a district level. So we're talking of a district that has 10 constituencies. And for them to go around these constituencies and see what's happening in the constituencies is very difficult.
Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Gender Administration, Isaac Karobola, considered of the challenges and pledged government is working to address the situation.
In terms of vacancy, we depend upon the Ministry of Local Government and the district councils to work with us as far as recruitment is concerned. So what we are going to do is, or what we have been doing, is to talk to our colleagues in the Ministry of Local Government as well as the DHRMD to fill the vacancies at the district level.
In recent months, Malawi has witnessed an increased spate of gender-based violence, many of these attributed to lack of knowledge on existing laws. This is Chimwemwe Padata for Zodiac.
Still on gender, former First Lady Shanil Muluzi says extension of jail terms by the High Court for people that were convicted for committing defilement offences is a vibrant step to curb sexual abuses against children. She said this after interacting with women in Chireka Blantyre in her capacity as advisor of the Vice President, Dr. Salo Sirima, on women affairs, that there is need for police to consistently collaborate with the courts to safeguard the rights of children and women. Christopher Sunday reports.
Former First Lady Shanil Muluzi was at Nkata village under Kuntaja area in Blantyre on Monday to interact with women to share ways of improving their lives. Chanel, who is currently an advisor to the Vice President on women issues in the country, expressed sadness with the increasing cases of domestic violence against women and children. She has since commended the High Court for extending jail terms for those that were convicted for defilement.
I'm very happy that the courts are doing what they are doing. They have increased the years for the perpetrators to be in jail. I think that will lessen this barbaric behavior.
She is of the view that the establishment of permanent economic empowerment programs and promotion of girl-child education are vital tools to safeguard the rights of children and women. While commending Chanel Muluzi for visiting their area, Edith Maliro of Lemu village asked the police to do more in punishing perpetrators of gender-based violence. Chanel's sentiments come when High Court Judge Agnes Patemba, sitting in Chikwawa a few days ago, extended the jail terms of Smart Banda from 10 years to 40 years, Goodson Bandecha from 11 to 42 years, Stephen Hamilton from 14 to 40 years, and Godfrey Julius from 14 to 35 years. Reporting for Zodiac from Blantyre, this is Christopher Sunday.
Arts and entertainment lovers are mourning the death of celebrated comedian and stage actor Eric Mabedi. Mabedi died at Maiwatu Hospital in Blantyre, where he was rushed to after falling ill. His friend, John O'Malley, says Mabedi has also been diagnosed with COVID-19. His remains are expected to be interred at CI Cemetery in Blantyre Tuesday. Minister of Tourism, Culture and Wildlife Michael Usi has described the death of Mabedi as a big loss. Let's now move on to sports. Mighty Wanderers Football Club says it has opened doors for more partnerships to maximize benefits in their commercialization drive, as Salima Sugar Company will not have 100% shares in the club. The Blantyre-based Giants are now a limited company with business magnate Dr. Thompson Mpinganjira at the helm of its operations. Acting Chief Executive Officer Chance Gondwe says the team will adopt a model of having multiple sponsorships alongside Salima Sugar Limited, who are in a 9-month deal with Lali Rubani Heavyweights. A soccer analyst has hailed the Nomads for the move, saying it will expand its financial stability.
A few days after the first board meeting, which newly elected President Dr. Thompson Mpinganjira chaired in Blantyre, Mighty Wanderers Football Club, who are now a limited company, are on the ground seeking business partnerships, and Acting Chief Executive Officer Chance Gondwe says the opportunity is open to potential investors. The club is currently in a sponsorship deal with Salima Sugar Limited, but Gondwe says further sponsorships will come on board as Salima Sugar does not own any ownership rights.
Wanderers is not owned by an individual, is not owned by a company. It's the supporters themselves who registered the company, who registered Wanderers to become a company. That's why Wanderers was to remain Mighty Wanderers Football Club. Salima Sugar will just come in as a sponsor, sponsoring Mighty Wanderers Football Club. The name won't change. The name remains the same. If we are talking of multiple partnerships, whatsoever, that will happen, that can happen, is not a problem. Or even multiple sponsors. They'll just come in and sponsor, and there are a lot of areas they can use to market their products.
Soccer analyst George Kaudzamasina says the model which the Nomads have adopted is viable and will enhance the club's financial stability.
That's the way to go. If you look at all these rich clubs the world over, there isn't any club which has got only one sponsor. Each and every sponsor is not only solely there for football, they have got other obligations. Each sponsor will be responsible for a particular aspect. So what Wanderers has done is the way to go.
Founded in 1962, Mighty Wanderers were previously sponsored by Limbeleaf Tobacco Limited, Yamaha, Malawi Telecommunications Limited, and just recently Japanese car firm B Forward Limited, who withdrew their sponsorship last year.
And that's about what we had time for in this news edition, but before we go, a look at the headlines. Public Accounts Committee of Parliament demands report from Health Ministry on 645 million kwacha funds for referral cases. Ncheu tragedy, which claimed 21 lives on Sunday, creates 60 orphans. High vacancy rate for gender officers at district councils said to be contributing to rising GBV cases. And in sports, Mighty Wanderers FC opens up for more partnerships to maximize commercialization drive. Visit our website zodiacmalawi.com for more news. My name is Chancellor Zobanda. Thanks for watching.
Malawi at 57 promotion. Celebrate Malawi's independence with Smart Realtors Company in the Malawi at 57 promotion. Smart Realtors Company has reduced the prices of their plots from 2.5 million kwacha to 1.4 million kwacha on